Okay, boys and girls, welcome back. The first graph that we did should be the first piece is x, and that's simple because when we're at -1, then y is -1. So our first graph would be at -1, -1. It would be a closed circle, and so we would go down and to the left because it has a positive slope. And so our first line will look like this, closed circle. Now, next part of this graph, let's get another color, is also going to start at -1, but this time our y value would be -1 times -1 plus 4, which would be 1 plus 4, which would be 5. So we would start at -1 and positive 5. And that would be an open circle, and it's negative, so we're going to go down and to the right, and we want to make sure that it crosses the y-axis at 4 because that's our y-intercept. And so we continue that, and we would get a graph that looks sort of like this. Okay, so hopefully that's what you have. And again, if you have questions about this, send me a text on Remind. Again, we have another one with 3 parts, but the first one's kind of easy because it's just 5. So we're going to start with x is -2, and when x is -2, then y is always 5. So we're going to start at x is -2, y is 5, and there is an open circle, and it's a horizontal line. And the next one is, remember, we have to do both ends on the middle one. So we're going to do x, y, and we're going to start at -2, and we're going to do 6. So this is 1/2 times 2 minus 6, and that is -1 minus 6, so -7. And then at 6 we have 1/2. Why did I, that should be 1/2, and that's -2, but it's going to be the same thing. It all comes out in the wash. And then we have 1/2 times 6 minus 6, which is 3 minus 6, -3. Okay, and so we get, starting at -2 and 7 is a closed circle. And then at x is 6, we get -3. Well, first of all, that's -7. So I need to put this down here. It's 1/2 times -2, which is -1, so it's -7. It's 1/2 times 6 is 3. 3 minus 6 is -3. All right, so I'm sorry, I put that in the wrong place to begin with. That should go in the bottom. And yeah, let me get a different color. Blue. So that'll go down here. And then we're going to go up 1 and over 2. Up 1 over 2 until we get to 6. Up 1 over 2. Up 1 over 2. And that should be at -3. Good job. And are both of those closed? Yep, both of those are closed circles. And so then our last one is -2x times 10. We're going to start at 6, so that's -2 times 6 plus 10. And that is -12 plus 10 is -2. So we're going to start at 6 and -2. And we have an open circle. And our slope is -2, so that means it's going to go down 2 and over 1. And again, if you like, you can do another point to see exactly where it is. So if we want to do 7, we get -2 times 7 plus 10 which is negative 14. That's going to give us negative 4. And so at 7, we should be at negative 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, that's where we are. And that's out their graph. Okay, so that is it for graphing. And then we're going to evaluate, also evaluate a piecewise function, which we did this earlier. So what I'd like for you to do is I would like for you to try this on your own. Again, stop the video and then come back and see the remaining part of the video. Okay, welcome back. And I'm just going to kind of briefly remind you how to do this. So if we're evaluating f of 3, we have to ask ourselves, where's the piece defined at 3? And so since 3 is greater than negative 2, it would be defined here. So I answer simply negative 4. Where is it defined for negative 4? Since negative 4 is less than negative 2, we would use the first piece of that. So that would be negative 4 plus 5. And that'll give us 1. When is it negative 2? So when is exactly negative 2? That would be x is greater than or equal to negative 2. So that would be negative 4 as well. F of negative 2. Negative 2 is less than 1, so we'd use the top graph, and that would give us negative 4 plus 1, negative 3. F of 6. 6 is greater than 1, so we'd use the bottom, which would be negative 12 plus 3, which is negative 9. And f of 1, again, we would use this one because that's where it's greater than or equal to, so that would be negative 2 plus 3, which is 1. F of negative 4. So which piece is defined for negative 4 when x is less than 2? So that would be the top one. So that would be negative 2 times negative 4 minus 4, which is 8 minus 4. So that would be 4. F of 8 is greater than 2, so we'd use the bottom one. So that would be 4 times 8 minus 9, which is 32 minus 9, and you can do the math on that. F of 2, we're going to do the exact one, so that would be this one. So that would be negative 2 times 2 minus 4, which is 4 minus 4, 0. And finishing this up, f of negative 1 falls between negative 2 and 4, so I would use the middle one, the middle piece. So that is negative 2 minus 1, which is negative 3. F of negative 4 would fall into the top, so that would be negative 5. F of 5 falls into the bottom, that would be negative 15 plus 8, negative 7. F of negative 4 falls into the top, so that would simply be negative 4. F of 0 falls into the bottom, so that would be positive 4. F of 3 also falls into the bottom, so that would be negative 3 plus 4, 1. And finally, f of negative 4 falls into the top, so that would be 5. F of 8 falls into the bottom, so that would be negative 2 times 8 plus 10, which is negative 16 plus 10, which is negative 6. And f of negative 2, we'd have to use the endpoint here because that's where it's equal to 2. So that would be 1/2 times negative 2 minus 6, which is negative 1 minus 6, negative 7. Okay? Okie dokie, that's all for that lesson. And your homework, check your homework on the Google Classroom site. And have a good afternoon.